Imagine this. You've just recovered from the flu, a virus that killed millions of cells in your body, knocked you out for weeks, and took a ton of energy to fight off. Beating an infection like that? It's a massive achievement, especially when we remember that flu still claims up to 500,000 lives every single year. Now, you survived. Your body learned something from this battle, but what if every time the flu showed up, you'd have to fight it all over again from scratch? That would mean living in a world where nothing was ever truly behind you. Every single infection would be a new nightmare. But thankfully, that's not how our bodies work. Today, we're talking about the real MVP of our immune system, memory cells. So how does immune memory work exactly? When you catch a virus, like the flu, your immune system launches an all-out attack with B cells and T cells. But here's the cool part. When the infection is defeated, your immune system doesn't just forget it, it remembers it, literally. In fact, immune comes from the Latin word for exempt, meaning that once you're immune, you're exempt from getting sick from that same illness again. Now, this idea isn't new. Way back in ancient Greece, around 430 BCE, historian Thucydides noticed that people who survived the plague didn't get it again. He didn't know why, but that's what scientists call immunological memory. And without this memory, surviving even one infection could become an endless repeating nightmare. Here's where the science gets fascinating. After your body fights off an infection, some of your immune cells, called memory cells, stick around. They're a bit like tiny archives of your past battles, ready to spring into action if they see the same enemy again. Meet the memory B cells. They basically just chill in your lymph nodes, keeping an eye out for any familiar invaders. Most of the time, they do nothing. But if they recognize an antigen from a past infection, they wake up in a hurry. And then there's the long-lived plasma cells. These cells move into your bone marrow and get cozy, making a steady supply of antibodies for months, even years. Their whole job is to keep those antibodies circulating. So if a past invader dares to come back, those antibodies are already there, ready to attack. Fun fact, a single drop of blood contains about 13 trillion antibodies. That's 13 million. These proteins are like a memory of every disease you've overcome. Memory B cells are amazing, but they're only half the story. Your T cells also create memory cells, and they've got some unique moves. After an infection, about 90% of the T cells that fought the battle will actually self-destruct, kind of like soldiers retiring after a war. But the remaining 10%, they become specialized memory T cells. There are three kinds. Tissue-resident memory T cells stay put at the original infection site, lying low like sleeper agents until the invader shows up again. Effector memory T cells roam your body, patrolling the blood and lymphatic system, ready to respond instantly. Central memory T cells hang out in your lymph nodes, waiting for orders to rapidly produce new T cells if needed. This setup is incredibly efficient. If a pathogen tries to invade a second time, these T cells jump in before you even know something's wrong. Here's why immune memory is such a game changer. When a pathogen invades for the first time, your body might have only a handful of B and T cells that recognize it. Imagine hosting a dinner party with only a few dishes, just hoping your guests like one of them. But after your immune system identifies a pathogen, it remembers what worked. It's like your immune system chef now knows exactly what dishes the invader hates. So it preps tons of those specific B and T cells and keeps them ready to go. Next time that pathogen shows up, it's crushed almost instantly. Immune memory is powerful, but unfortunately, it's not invincible. Some diseases, like measles, can actually erase part of your immune memory, killing memory cells that protect you from other infections. That's one reason why measles can be so dangerous and why vaccination is crucial. With measles cases making a comeback, it's a serious concern, especially for kids who are more vulnerable. So the next time you get a flu shot or just get over a cold, take a moment to appreciate what's happening on the cellular level. Your immune system is learning, building its defenses, and remembering every challenge you've overcome. It's not just an army. It's a living history of everything you've beaten, always ready to protect you. And honestly, isn't it kind of poetic? The idea that every time your immune system fights and wins, a tiny part of it remembers, making you stronger for the future, that's the story of immune memory and why it's one of the most incredible aspects of being alive. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into immune memory, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more science breakdowns like this. Stay healthy, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.